Good morning. Millions of people use fitness apps every day to track their exercise, but at least one of those apps is being investigated for tracking you too much and potentially violating your privacy. This morning, tech expert Dave Hatter is here to tell you what to watch out for. So first off, I want to know the name of this app.
It's called Runkeeper, and there's a bazillion fitness apps out there now. You know, I'm a big fan of Fitbit myself, but it works a little different. This is an app on your phone. You turn it on. It's really designed for runners and people doing that kind of activity. So, you know, naturally you turn it on, and by design, it's designed to track what you're doing. Of course, it needs to know where you are and elevation and things like that, because it would be part of a training regimen, you know? So by its nature, it's going to track you. It's going to report that information back to some kind of centralized website. And almost all of these apps then have some kind of corresponding website that'll draw charts and graphs and help you create goals and that sort of thing. So it's designed to do this kind of tracking. The issue that's been raised, apparently in Norway, the Norwegian Consumer Council studied 20 apps for privacy violations, and they found that Runkeeper, at least its Android version, is pretty much tracking you all the time, even when you're not actively using the app, and that's the issue.
Right, you understand that it's going to be tracking you when you've pulled it up, it's on, and you're doing the activity, but you're saying once you've closed out of it, it's still tracking you and then perhaps can sell that information?
Sure, so, you know, it really boils down, Kara, anytime you use any app that you didn't pay for, right? These things are not cheap to build. You got to hire programmers, they got to build it, they got to test it. They're building these things because if they're not charging you up front with some kind of initial payment, they want your data. They're either going to use the data to sell you things directly, or in all likelihood, they're going to take your data, sell it to someone else who wants to sell you something, or do who knows what with it. And I think that's the real issue here. Even if their terms and conditions, and it's not clear that they do, said, hey, we're going to track you all the time, whether you know it or not, whether you intend to be tracked because you're using the app the way it was designed to work, you know, this thing is collecting information, it's aggregating this information, and who knows what they're doing. As part of this study, they've already determined that this information that's been collected about folks has been sold to advertising agencies in the United States. So, you know, I would suggest in this case, I wouldn't use this app. I'm not going to use any app that's going to track me all the time, even when I'm not actively using it. What is the benefit to me of that? Answer, none. They want your data. Who knows what they're going to do with it? Who knows what will happen to it if they go out of business? They've been around since 2008 and were recently sold to ASICS. Now, I mean, that's obviously a reputable company, but if ASICS goes out of business, this was a big issue with Radio Shack a few years ago. What happens to all that data they've collected about you that you don't even know about?
And how much at risk are you? How much data is needed about you? Are we talking a couple pieces, a whole slew of information before you're really at risk?
Well, yeah, it doesn't take much. An MIT study, and there have been other studies as well, show that with as little as 4 pieces of information, and of course it depends on what they are, you can be uniquely identified. And in addition to things that this would normally track, like, you know, the elevation that you're at and your location, date, time stamp location, it's apparently collecting other stuff off your phone, like Google IDs and so forth. So again, you know, they want to build some kind of map of you, a user profile or something, and collect that, use it for themselves, sell it to other people because there's value in that. And, you know, to me, it's pretty questionable activity. I would get rid of Runkeeper if I had it. I can tell you right now, that thing would be gone.
Delete.
Yes.
Okay,
Outta
Dave
here.
Hatter, we love having you on, keeping us informed. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Kara.
much.